Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Christina Stitcher with the Holistic Hive podcast. I am so excited to have this interview with Michelle Ball. This is one that I've gotten to know Michelle over the last probably now over a year. And what a energy, what a force to be reckoned with. So I'm really excited to bring you on and share you with all of our listeners. So Michelle, will you introduce yourself to everyone?
I will. Hi, I am Michelle Ball with Essential Abundance and doTERRA International. So as far as that goes, I am a wellness advocate with doTERRA International, but I do have my own company.
So tell me a little bit more about your company. Well, actually, before I do that, first tell me, how did you even get started into essential oils? Because that's really what leads everything, right?
Right. So it's just really a cool story. I was an elementary school teacher, and elementary school teachers are stressed, and there's so many issues that they have with their immune systems because they've got all these little immune systems running around giving them germs. And so anyway, I was a school teacher, and I got headaches every time I would use cleaning products. And so there was this company that came into our school and brought books and sold books to the teachers. And one day I found this book, and it was called Green Clean. And I thought, this is my solution for being able to clean my home, because you don't want headaches all the time. So I bought the book, I went home, I opened it up, and in there was recipes, and they called for essential oils. And this was 10, 11 years ago. And I had no idea what essential oils were. And so I started asking people, and they said, oh, you get those at the health food store. So I drove over to the health food store. They told me where they were. I still really didn't know what they were. And I bought them, took them home, and used them in my recipes. And then at that time, I started getting curious because I say things on the little bottle like, don't use these for anything else other than aromatherapy unless you have some advice, know what you're doing. And so then the chiropractor that I was going to at the time started using doTERRA, and he started using them on his clients. And I started getting very curious. And anyway, long story short, some friends of mine invited me to a class, and I started learning about the wonderful world of essential oils. And at the time, I really had no intention of doing this as a business. And then someone said to me at one of the many classes, because I kept going back to class after class after class, and she said, you should host a class. And I didn't want to. And then I called her back as soon as I got home. I said, yeah, I do want to. and then all these people came to my class. I saw that I was making a difference for them. And I shared with my mother-in-law, and she was like, oh my goodness, this is really fulfilling to make a difference in people's lives. That's how I got started.
That's awesome. So I look at that of going, what a good journey as well, because a lot of times we get into natural living, natural health, because of something that's happened in our own lives or because of an awareness. And I look at it going, like, as an elementary school teacher, it's like, yeah, you're dealing with the germs and the kiddos, and sometimes you get sick, sometimes you don't. So you learn this whole element of, do germs cause sickness or not? But then I love what really the aha moment was. Every time I clean, I'm getting headache. And so there must be something that is now causing me to have headaches. And so I love that it's like this path of finding the right book, right time, right place. Universe, of course, provides. And say, okay, I don't even know what this path is, but you went down it and obviously discovered a passion for yourself, for your family, and then for others as well.
Absolutely, because it started right there with, oh my goodness, I don't have to have headaches when I clean anymore. But then I learned, oh my goodness, they can support my emotions. I don't have to be so stressed while I'm at school. And then, oh my goodness, they can support my immune system. I don't get sick so often. And then, oh my goodness, all these other things that helped me and my family and the people that I came in contact with. And I started learning so much. And it was a joy to be able to learn the possibilities of how to, for one, detox my home, because there's products that are so much better that I didn't even know existed, and I didn't realize that the products that I was using in my home had so many toxins.
I want to stay there because I think that would be a really good topic for today as well, because a lot of people say it's like, and I'll even be guilty of it. It's like, I was really, really clean, really, really strict. And then life gets busy, and honestly, I stopped working with a company that had natural products. And so then you start filling in other things. And then you didn't, and I did a purge on my home, and I realized how many things had snuck into the house that are really chemical laden. And a lot of people go, where do I start? So I know that, like, I know doTERRA, and my home is full of it. So I want you to explain it better, though, is give like some really good examples of where some of the biggest toxicities are in our home,
Okay.
and some alternatives, if you can cover that.
Okay, absolutely. A really good place to start is toothpaste, because there are so many toxins and terrible things in your toothpaste. And you can look up the ingredients in the toothpaste and look up the bad things that can happen from using those ingredients. And you're like, why are they putting that in our toothpaste? That's a great place to start. doTERRA has a toothpaste that tastes good and is good for your mouth, and it's very good for oral health. It just has some oils in it that have been tested in clinical trials that I can't say what they do, but they wipe stuff out, and and so it helps your oral health be healthy without the awful, nasty toxins. So toothpaste is the first place to start. I give people toothpaste samples or even gifts of toothpaste. That's a great place to start. The other place to start is deodorant. Oh my goodness. Antiperspirants are terrible for you, and they cause lots of awful, terrible things. So if you can replace the antiperspirant with a deodorant, and doTERRA has a healthy deodorant that works really good, then that's a great place to start as well. So either the toothpaste, deodorant, or the shampoo. doTERRA has a shampoo and a conditioner, and now they have a leave-in conditioner. So if you will take and just start with one thing, and another place that I really love, a product that I absolutely love, is another wonderful place to start. It's doTERRA's Cleaner Concentrate, because you can use that in your cleaning. I mean, clearly I love it. It wasn't around when I started, but with the cleaning thing. Or I actually put it, I don't have one right here, but you have those little pump soap dispensers that you can put a teeny bit, like a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, at the most a fourth of a cup. I don't usually put that much in at the bottom of the soap dispenser. Fill it up with water, and then you've got an economical way to wash your hands without the awful stuff that's in liquid soaps.
I think that's such a good way to do it. It's like really using it as a cleanser, but yet getting it to a foamer, which kids are going to love. They're going to use, but it's also one of going, we need convenience. When we talk through, and I'm going to take them all on as well, because I love them. And I've switched over. Like I will say, for the toothpaste, I was buying natural toothpaste for my team and for my office, for my home. And then I switched over when I started grabbing a whole bunch of doTERRA products, and I brought one of the toothpaste in because I actually like the flavor of it better. And with my team, they're like, oh yeah, no, don't get the other stuff again. And I find that fascinating, because it's like, you look at a lot of times, like cost, you're going to pay more for natural, but when you look at really good companies, it's like, it's going to be within what is expected. Like I joke now that when I go shopping, it's like, I look for really good quality rather than look at the price. And when you really find it, it's like the price is going to be really close anyway, especially when you have less products in your home that can be multifaceted. When you talk about deodorant, I'm going to jump there because that's a huge one. Like people don't like to sweat, but sweating is what your body does to release toxins and to regulate its temperature. And so once we stop that sweating process with a chemical, with something that's blocking that natural process, your body can no longer release toxins. And so what we're seeing, and I'll even go there, it's like we're seeing correlation of antiperspirants, which not a deodorant, but an antiperspirant, but especially with aluminums in them and other chemicals. And we're seeing a higher incidence of certain types of cancers, because you need to have that lymph system working like it's designed and programmed to do, is to really expel those toxins. And so to be able to switch to something knowing, and I think it's important to say, it's a deodorant, which means you will sweat, but you won't stink. And
exactly.
Let's be honest, that's what everyone wants. So maybe change your clothing from cotton to something else that's going to dry quicker, because
or
you
make it take a shower after you're done exercising. I mean, those kinds of things. But for me personally, it's personal, because when I was growing up, I did not sweat enough. And when you do not sweat enough, there can be health challenges with that. My face would get all bright red and I would get overheated and I would have to literally leave the basketball court because I couldn't be there. It was not good for my health. But now, because I have changed in my lifestyle, so much healthier, I sweat and I am able to run. I just ran this Monday 8 miles. I never could have done that before. And so it's okay to sweat. It's good to sweat. That's what your body wants to do to cool itself off.
When you look at that, it's like, I remember getting back into sauna therapy and being told, like, if you don't sweat the first couple times, you need sauna even more than someone else who sweats right away, because your body has now been conditioned and is holding those toxins in rather than just readily releasing them. And so I'm a huge fan when people come to me and say, okay, what can I do for natural like detox? One of the best things you do is get out in the sun and get sweating, because you want to be able to get those things out of your system. And we really need to be mindful of the products we're putting on our skin, which is one of our largest organs of our body, and that prevents that. And so anything that's going to prevent that is going to cause issues with health, malfunction within our body, and lead to a disease process or a dis-ease as well. And so I love that it's just really simple, like just switch this out for that.
Exactly. And that reminds me of another switch out, which would be the lotion. The lotions that people use are so terrible for you. And doTERRA has a better lotion as well. They have a whole skincare line. They have so many good things that, in fact, they have two skincare lines. One of them is more natural, and one of them, okay, so there's two. I actually prefer the one that is not quite as natural because of the choice of essential oils that they put in there. And so even though it's not the very best as far as the natural, it has very best essential oils in it. And it does wonders for my skin, and I love it. And I love how it makes me feel. And so it's better than the ones in the store. It's better than the ones even that you can purchase from other companies. It's not like as good as their more healthy one, but I prefer it. And that's okay. We all get to make our choices.
Well, and I like that's one thing I have noticed is that they have a couple of different skincare lines. And you look at that of going, again, the opportunity, anything, and this is one advice I'll give to anyone that's listening, which ideally most people know this, that's already dialed into Holistic Hive, is if you're going into a store that sells lotions and is really fragrant, you want to turn around and immediately leave, because those fragrances that are in those type of lotions are the ones that are toxic to your body. And those are going to stimulate the estrogens in our body as well. That is going to cause an estrogen dominance, which is causing, like we're seeing it with men and women, lots of cascade effects for the health issue. But you got to realize that those type of fragrances are not natural. They're chemical, and your body's now taking it in.
Right. They're synthetic. And what's really fascinating to me when I first started learning about essential oils is those synthetic fragrances actually are in the essential oil world are considered an essential oil. And I'm like, wow, wait a minute. They are not an essential oil. They are a synthetic coffee.
Yes.
So they are considered an essential oil still. And what happens is even the essential oils, a lot of times that you buy at Walmart, oh my goodness, have fillers or have pesticides or other kinds of things in them. In fact, they will go, I'm not saying necessarily the ones at Walmart, because I'm not going to, say, oh, this company does this, but a lot of companies will take just one part of the essential oil. I'm talking in layman's terms because I like to do that. One little part of the essential oil, copy that and stick that in. And it's not really, it's a component, but it's not an essential oil. They see what the essential oil has and they go, okay, we're going to take this to mimic it and to look like it. And essentially it is a filler and it is not the essential oil. And then people, in fact, in the industry, they only have to have a certain amount of pure essential oil to call it pure essential oil.
And you look at that because it's frustrating. And at the same time, I don't want over-regulation. And so it's an interesting balance, because what has been allowed within advertising, because that's really how they qualify it, because it's within under cosmetics, and it's like certain things have to be disclosed, but not fully. And so it's really hard to come in and say, okay, well, where do I start? And so if someone's saying, okay, I'm new to essential oils, I do want quality. I'm going to speak to a person who mostly eats organic, really is aware of the products that they're utilizing. And they say, yeah, there's a time to switch. How would you say, like, not just a starting point, but it's like, this is kind of the, why go with a certain company as well versus just going to the health food store and starting there?
Okay, yeah, perfect. So doTERRA does their own outsourcing with another company. They say, okay, we want to have third-party testing and to prove that our essential oils are top of the line, they're pure, they're natural, they're powerful, they work. I mean, there's so many different things that come into play. You need to pick the rose at a certain time of day. You know, the rose essential oil is carted in carts instead of in trucks so that they don't have all of the, you know, those kinds of things. When you look into the company, and you can look into companies, there are testing companies out there, and there was a testing company that tested a whole bunch of different essential oil companies. doTERRA was the only one that said, yeah, go ahead and publish the results. All the other companies didn't want them to publish the results. So it's really interesting. You can find the testing out there, but you know, doTERRA really is the top of the line as far as the quality, the purity, all of that. They have what they call certified pure therapeutic grade. And most of the other ones are not that high quality.
So give me why certified pure therapeutic grade matters versus just a pure essential oil.
Thank you very much. Because with certified pure therapeutic grade, you know that it's safe to put on your skin. Now, there's still safety guidelines, but you know also that the ones that should be able to be taken internally can be. So not every essential oil should be taken internally, but citrus oils, peppermint, all of those kinds of things should be able to be taken internally. And doTERRA's oils have a supplement fact box on them. But the other ones that are not pure, you don't want to take them internally because they have used pesticides, they have used fertilizers, they have used all of these things, and they've used a lesser quality plant. They've put fillers in there that are not supposed to be taken internally. Then you don't want to be using that. If you don't want to be taking it internally for a citrus oil, then I would not want to put it on topically. Now, other oils that are not supposed to be taken internally, that's a different story. But for something like lavender that you can take internally, I wouldn't want to put the other quality on my skin.
The other thing I like to explain when it comes to oils is that it takes a lot, like use rose. It takes a lot of roses to be able to create and titrate down. When you're doing titration, I remember doing this in organic chemistry. I was fascinated by it. And you're boiling off the solution and just the oil is literally dripping out. And it can be a slow drip. And when you look at that of going, that is the most concentrated form of whatever they're boiling out. So what you have to realize is, and I think this is really important to say, and this is why I think it lends itself to pure, organic, clean. When we talk pesticides, this is why it matters, is because if you're concentrating it and it has pesticides in it, you're going to get a concentrated form of the pesticides. They won't burn out. They will go into the oil.
They will. And so the way they get essential oils, there's several different methods, but steam distillation is the most common. doTERRA uses that, and they use other methods too for different oils. But that steam distillation is what you're talking about. And you're right, those pesticides come right through. They don't get left behind.
And I think it's really one, because then you look at it and it's like, and I love that I got to do it and realize how much it takes to really create a very small amount. And also that's why it's like when we're looking at supplements and looking at, even we'll talk about like teas. Teas is a really good example. If you do loose leaf tea, you can really see how much tea you really need for just 1 cup of water. When you're talking about an essential oil, we're way past that point of being so specific, so concentrated that it can last so much for longer and further than having to have bulk. I guess that's the other
Absolutely.
Now you don't have bulk.
Yeah, I mean, I drink tea as well, but 1 drop of peppermint oil. And I can't remember, I'd have to go look, but I'm pretty sure that it's like worth like 25 cups of tea or something like that. I'd have to go back and look and make sure that I'm saying the amount, but it is very, very concentrated. And so if you put 1 drop of peppermint oil on your tongue, you go, whoa, you don't need even 1 drop. You can put 1 drop in your palm. You can stick your thumb or your finger in. You can put that on your tongue. So you just get a little bit, or they do have peppermint beadlets, which are less than a drop, and you can pop it in your mouth. And you get fresh breath, and you don't have all of the sugar that the mints have in them.
Exactly. So then I also know that you teach classes and you take education a little further. Can you explain that for people as well?
I do. So right now I'm going to be teaching classes. I'm so excited. I'm partnering with our local senior center, and I'm going to be teaching classes there. And that's going to be fun to teach the senior citizens in our community. We're going to be doing a bath bomb class, but I also give people the opportunity to host classes in their home. And I give prizes, and I also let the host get things for free. And so for July and August right now, I'm going to be giving the host or the hostess $10 worth of essential oils or products per guest that comes to their home. Now the guest has to be qualified, and I can talk to them about the details of that, but that's very generous. And I really like to be very generous, because when I can educate people and make a difference in their lives, it is so fulfilling to me. So I'd want to get the seats filled.
And I look at that because I think that's also the really important part of this is like, this is no longer something that you didn't get into this for a job. It became an opportunity because of the passion, because of the understanding, but then the reach that can go even further. And so within that, it's like, what do you really see as like the ideal or the best story that comes out? Like, what is it that really like makes it worth it for you as you do this?
Oh, what makes it worth it for me is to see people. Okay, I'm just going to share a little story. There was a guy that I was just at a coffee shop with, and we were figuring out how we could help each other's business. Mm-hmm. And he just said to me, oh my goodness, I was camping and this happened I've got this down here on my leg. And he told me what he had, but I have to be careful with the FDA. Right. So I'm not going to tell you what he had. I ripped out my Roman chamomile, which has natural stuff in it that makes you have a healthy histamine reaction. Mm-hmm. So I gave him the sample. He rubbed it on his leg. He immediately felt relief. I love seeing people have immediate relief from their issues that they're having. And I love seeing people being able to have long-term differences in their life. My health, oh my goodness, was not what it is today. 10 years ago, I never could have trained to run a half marathon like I am right now on August 28th. I'm so excited to be able to do that. And I never could have done that because my health was so poor. And so seeing other people be able to change their lifestyle to be a healthy lifestyle is just so fulfilling.
And you look at that of going, sometimes it takes something to get started. It takes that spark. A lot of times people stop doing things and their health gets worse. And they look back and going, it's like, oh, but it's like getting going again. And it's amazing how I'm always one that says, if you want to start somewhere, like I love the expression, if you want to be successful, make your bed. Every morning, make your bed, because daily habits create a healthy lifestyle that creates success. And I look at this as like, that's why I want to start with you with today's was going simple switch outs. It's like switch out what you're doing in your morning routine. So you look at, it's like your toothpaste, your deodorant, your lotion, your shampoo and conditioner, like those are so simple. And yet they're a reminder of making a conscious choice to take care of your body rather than ignoring what it is and just hoping your body can manage it through.
Right. And your body will thank you.
It makes a big difference to start somewhere and then to see that and see the ripple effect. It's like you look at 10 years later and where it is, because, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier as well, and I love how much these overlap. It's like, there is no process that does not require time. And I love that principle. I love that reminder, because when it comes to healing, if you want permanent healing, you want sustained healing, you want things that are going to last, it's going to take time for your body to heal and repair. When we're younger, we neglected it, sometimes because we didn't know. And I think that's a really important thing. And then we also, as we get older, sometimes we get wiser. That doesn't always come with age. But at the same time, we realize it's like, I wish I'd known this when I was younger, but yet I appreciate it now because I know it now. And so now we can see going, we're going to get older anyway. Let's really get the best of life as we keep on going. And I think you're a great example of that, going, no, like, have you ever run a half marathon before?
No.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is that as I continue my journey, my health journey, often people keep saying to me, Michelle, you look younger. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I have never run a half marathon. In fact, last year, during 2020, the year of 2020 Perfect Vision, I decided that I wanted to have a health goal of running 1 mile. Mm-hmm. And the first day I ran 1 minute. Now, previous to this, maybe 5-10 years ago, before that time period, I had run a 5K. So 3 miles was the maximum that I had ever run in my life. And so I decided I'll run a mile because I wasn't running. In April, I ran a mile. Each month, I added a mile until I ran 7 miles in October. That was a victory for me.
And I look at that of going, it's a huge, like, I'm a runner myself. I've run lots of half marathons, run a marathon. It's like, I know, I'm so excited for you. Like, I know the energy that's going into this and the time and the effort. And I love what you just said. Each mile is a victory. That's one thing. When I first started training, it was like this, you should be able to go faster. You should be, it's like, I beat myself up in my head. And now, like, I've learned, it's like every mile, I'm like, I celebrate every mile. And it's like, and it's not like I've got 12 more. Oh no, baby. I just completed my first mile and I feel great because I'm honoring my body and this is fun. And so when we look at that of going, we start doing things that are fun and building up, and then we really appreciate all of our different forms, sizes, athleticism levels, and find what brings joy for you. And you'll be amazed that there's a group of people out there. There's probably some type of program you can join and really get around more like-minded people to keep on up-leveling your health.
Absolutely. Yeah. And talking about that, we had talked another time at your office that I do have for the people that are interested and they can reach out to me and they do want to continue their journey. Once they do decide that they would love to have a wholesale membership, they can come to my Facebook group, and I have videos there that are educational as well.
And I love that you do that. So that's something that once someone has decided to join in, you even up level them even further, which is awesome.
Absolutely. And I also offer free wellness consultations too.
I love that. So if someone wants to get in, say they haven't even started yet, how do they get in contact with you?
Okay. So they can actually, I love giving people my phone number. So they can contact me and text me or call me because I love talking on the phone. It's 801-499-0161. Or if they're more of an email person, they can email me. But as you have experienced, I sometimes don't check my emails as often as I check my texts. So I'm just going to put that out there. But if they do want to email me and have some patience, it's essentialabundance LLC@gmail.com.
Perfect. I love the opportunity that we have to continue to look inward, find our own power, and really express that. And so I'm curious, as kind of as final words, what would be like one of the big things? What would you like to be known for? What's your biggest suggestion or advice that you'd give?
Yeah, I like to be known for the neurological expert, which is so interesting because I have a son with a condition that, again, the FDA doesn't allow me to share, but I have learned so much from him. And when the FDA came down, because before they did, I was teaching classes for his specific condition. And what I learned through that whole experience was that trials in our life like that, challenges where people say, no, you cannot, it actually expanded my reach because now everyone has a brain, and a lot of people really are concerned about their memory, about all of these different kinds of issues with our neurological system. And now all of a sudden, instead of this teeny tiny niche, I have a wider niche, a wider impact and influence that I can help people with their neurological system, and their neurological system affects their emotions. And so between the neurological and the emotions, that's my expertise. And so many people are suffering from those kinds of issues today. And I have answers and I would love to help them.
I think it's such a great way to wrap this up of going, I think there's the beauty in, there's the concern in the FDA over regulating. And then there's the beauty in it of going, okay, now we take it away from a word and now we make it about health. And we say, you know what, this impacts, rather than just one set of people that has been having a diagnosis, it really impacts everyone. And health impacts everyone at every level. It impacts families, it impacts communities, it impacts society overall. And now you're exactly right. Now we just broaden the scope and go, you know what, this isn't an option of, instead of taking a drug, take this, because that's what I like to get out of that mindset with essential oils. But it's no. How do we help build up function and improve your body to work at its best, knowing that your body's capable of healing itself?
Absolutely. So just one last little quick story with my daughter. She used her medication and essential oils, and she was able to run a mile where she never would have been able to do that without that support of both.
And I look at, that's one thing we're really careful and cautious with it, going, no, there's time and place for everything. And it's really one of going, this is why we call it the holistic hive, because it's really one of going, it's a holism. And we treat the whole person rather than the condition anyway. We take care of the whole person, which has many elements to it. And I love and appreciate your knowledge, really your enthusiasm within it, because it's one of going, this is exciting stuff. And it's really one that when we can share that enthusiasm, it empowers more people to take care of their families, but to take care of their families at a higher level but it can be simple and it can be easy switches out to start.
It so can, because 10 years ago, I knew nothing about essential oils. Now I'm an essential oil expert, ready to help people that are at the place where I was 10 years ago.
And that's a beautiful cycle. So thank you, Michelle, so much for being on. We are honored to have you. We will share this in our show notes as well for ways to contact you. And we appreciate everything that you do for us.
Thank you, Christina.